afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Bonnie Booley. Welcome back, Dan.
Oh, thank you so much.
You've been on holiday.
I've been on absolute leave from yesterday. Your cooking looked amazing, though. That recipe looks delicious.
I know. I think I ate all of it, and I left everybody like just little pieces of
That's the funniest
food.
thing. I always watch the show when I'm not on air, and I never watch the show when I am on air. So it's crazy to see. It's awesome to watch the show from behind the scenes. You guys have a great seat for some great entertainment on Afternoon Express. We love having you. It's the middle of the week, downhill to the weekend, hopefully. And the big topic of today's show is one that affects roughly half of all adults in South Africa over the age of 25. What is it? Well, it's called the silent killer because symptoms are very hard to pick up. I'm talking here about hypertension or high blood pressure, and we'll be unpacking all the risks and the symptoms involved with that. Now, May is measurement month, and I'll be getting my pressure tested later on. So fingers crossed, I don't have hypertension.
So every time I do that test, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, hoping.
We also chat to Visser, who specializes in something called blood type diets. And she's written a book that argues that people should be eating differently according to what blood type they are.
It's fascinating. She got a recipe for us as well. And I'm being kept quite busy on the show today. Later on, I'll also be trying my hand at yoga with two sisters from Durban who have started a yoga studio in the community. It's called the Toolbox Studio. So imagine us bending in some funny different positions on the show today. That's something to look forward to.
I'm always game for some. And it's not just about our own health and wellness today. As we turn the attention to our pets, we've got Rachel back from Sidewalk Specials with adorable fluff balls looking for a new home. And when we say fluff balls, we really mean it.
Bonnie and I almost got distracted before the show got started. So we're like, oh, little fluff ball. Oh, wait, we're live. All right, let's get the show started. We also have a pet behavior specialist joining us on the show today to answer any of the questions that you may have live. So if you're an animal lover, please do pick up the call and give us a phone call on 021 430 9881. That number again, 021 430 9881, and it's on your screen at the moment. We'd love to hear from you if you've got questions about how to ensure that your pups behave correctly.
Absolutely. You guys have no idea how excited we get when we see our phones ringing. Now, coming up in June is Blood Donor Month, and it's important for each South African to do their part and donate blood. It's free and one of the easiest ways to help save a life. I recently visited a center to find out a little bit more. It is believed that 75% of South Africans will need a blood transfusion at some point in their lives, but only 1.5% of the population actually donate blood, which is quite alarming considering that one blood donation can save 3 lives. It doesn't cost a cent, and it's possibly the easiest way to make a difference and save a life. Now, a lot of people find the idea of donating blood quite daunting, but with a little bit of insight, you can overcome all your fears around donating blood.
You need to complete a questionnaire for us.
Thank you. So who can actually donate blood?
Bonnie, if you're between the ages of 16 and 65, you weigh more than 50 kilograms, and you practice a safe sexual lifestyle, you are able to donate blood. That is why we make you fill in a questionnaire every time you come and donate blood to make sure that you are able to.
Right.
Now I'm going to prick your finger to test your hemoglobin level.
Okay.
That is checking to see how much iron you've got in your red blood cells.
So how much blood gets donated at a time, and how often can I do it?
You donate 450 mils each time you donate, and you can donate every 2 months, which is actually every 56 days.
Yeah. So are you happy with my hemoglobin levels?
We're good to go?
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. What does the blood actually get used for?
Comes to our laboratory where we can separate the blood into 3 parts, and that's why we always say you can save 3 lives with it.
Ooh. Okay, that wasn't too bad.
We can divide the whole blood up into red blood cells, into plasma, and to platelets, who are then given to patients who require those particular components. Don't forget to keep pumping, that's an important part.
Hi, so how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
That's
I'm
great.
really proud of myself. I think I've done my good deed for the week.
You certainly have.
So why are we typically seeing such a low percentage of South Africans donating blood, and how can we overcome this?
Our research has shown that probably the biggest reason why people don't donate blood is fear. It's fear of needles and fear of seeing blood and just fear of the unknown. Also, many people are afraid that they might contract a disease through a blood donation, and that of course is a huge misconception. All the needles and all the equipment we use are sterile. It's used only once and discarded after donation.
How urgent is it that South Africans really realize how much blood they need to donate?
We need 4,000 units of blood every single day, and blood expires, so we need to replenish that that stock, and less than 1.5% of the population donates. So we try and encourage people and tell them that with your one blood donation that takes less than an hour, you can save up to 3 people's lives.
Do we have any blood in reserves, and if so, how much?
Our current blood stocks is our current total blood supplies at about around 3 days, but our Group O and our Group B positive stock is extremely low at this stage.
When do we typically see a high demand for blood?
The times we really struggle with blood collections is during the holiday time. So Easter and the festive season, where we don't have access to the schools and the tertiary institutions and the businesses where we generally collect blood. Those are difficult times for us. And then the winter. During the winter, our donors suffer from the typical winter illnesses, colds and flu, and then they're unable to donate. So those are critical times for us.
So if anyone watching at home wants to find their nearest centre where they can donate blood, where do they go?
I would advise them to visit the website of the South African National Blood Service, and that is sanbs.org.za, or the Western Province Blood Transfusion Service is wpblood.org.za. Yes. They can also phone the SA Blood Service toll-free on 0800 11 90 31.
So I've been donating blood now for over 10 years, and to be honest, it really is the best way to save a life. You come in and less than 45 minutes later, you're out, and you get a cookie as well.
It's my first time donating blood, and I was quite nervous because I'm afraid of needles, but now that I'm here, it's actually not bad at all, and I get to save a life.
For the people out there, it's just a pinprick. It's not sore, and I'm donating because I want to save lives. I want to make a difference, even though if it's just saving 3 lives, and it's my good deed.
Yay! Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for your donation. You're all done, and we'll see you again in another 2 months.
Thank you. Now that I've donated blood, I feel really good about the idea that I've potentially saved a life. So now that you know how easy it is and life-changing it is, pop over to your nearest clinic and donate some blood. The cookies aren't too bad either.
It's been proved. Bonnie is vain.
Yeah, actually my veins were quite easy to find. They were just sitting on the surface waiting to donate
and
blood.
how random. You get so excited when the nurse is like, you've got nice veins. You're like, oh, why, thank you.
Thank you. But be sure to visit your nearest blood bank so that you can do your bit to make sure that we have enough blood. Now, 7.5 million, that's the average number of people around the world who die each year from complications as a result of high blood pressure.
Indeed. So that's the topic of the show today. Symptoms can be so hard to pick up, but the truth of the matter is that for many of us, the chance of developing high blood pressure can be greatly reduced through healthier lifestyle choices that we make ourselves. So we're joined now by hypertension and nephrology specialist, Dr. Erika Jones, to unpack this silent killer. Welcome to the loft.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Why is it typically called the silent killer?
Well, there are no symptoms. So you see high blood pressure in patients only once you measure their blood pressures. So it kills people and they never knew they had hypertension. So
So hypertension, blood pressure, I guess it's all in the name, that blood pressure of yours. I mean, what does it affect in the actual human body? What does it do to you, high blood pressure?
well, it's the pressure is high in the arteries, and the arteries go to all the organs in the entire body, so it can affect every organ. The big organs that we see that are affected are the brain, the kidneys, the heart, and we can see the high pressure in the arteries behind the eyes.
I see.
Is it genetic?
There is a genetic component. There's no defined genetic, except in a few very rare cases. There's a genetic component in that more families are susceptible, and if your parents have hypertension, you're more likely to develop hypertension.
Yeah.
But then there's also the very much the lifestyle component, which is also associated with families. And
So what are those? So talk us through some of the things that cause hypertension.
Okay, so it's traditionally thought to be an age-related thing. So as we get older, we tend to develop higher blood pressures. But people developing higher blood pressures at much younger ages, and this is in association with lifestyle diseases. So we don't live the life we're supposed to live. We're supposed to be more active, we're supposed to be eating healthy, fresh foods and vegetables, just generally a natural life, whereas we're living a fast life. We drive in our cars, we never walking, we take the escalator or the lift.
Fast food all the time.
Fast foods all the time, very high salt diet.
Late nights, stressful work.
Yep. And alcohol.
Shame, Dan.
Yeah. I'm thinking all these factors. I'm like, oh gosh,
dear.
I'm going to be tested later.
Yeah, so these are the standard risk factors
Yeah.
for developing hypertension in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah. And what times in our lives, perhaps, or in a person's life, is the susceptibility to high blood pressure increased?
Well, once we're 40, we should check our blood pressures every year, okay? If you're at higher risk, so if you've had any form of kidney disease or heart disease or any major disease as a child, you should definitely check earlier. If you're a woman who's had high blood pressure during a pregnancy, definitely check your blood pressure annually after that.
Yeah.
And if there's a family history, I would definitely, from the age of 21, even 18.
So I'm then picking up from you that ultimately, because it's a silent killer, it's also something that doesn't really show any symptoms until the danger happens. So the only way to really find out if you've got hypertension is to get tested.
Absolutely.
There's no other way you can check yourself to see like, oh, my veins are...
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow, that's
There are no
a little bit
symptoms.
scary.
You can't
Yeah.
say, oh, I've got a headache, therefore I've got high blood pressure today. It doesn't work like that.
And so increased high blood pressure or prolonged high blood pressure results in a stroke?
Yes, so it makes the arteries stiff and you're at increased risk of stroke. Bleeding stroke, much higher than
burst,
stroke
yeah.
where you're starved of oxygen. But you also get heart attacks, okay? You get funny rhythms, arrhythmias in the heart, and kidney failure.
Sure. So
and
much
blindness.
can go wrong. The idea really
Sure.
is go get tested.
Yes.
I only go when I donate blood to get my blood pressure tested, so I think it's quite important for me to maybe not go in that stressful situation and try to test it today. How about that? So, Doctor, thank you so much for coming to join us today.
Not a problem.
Yeah, teaching us all about the silent killer, because after the break, we're getting a live blood pressure test done right here on the show to show you how easy and simple the process is, and painless, of course. So head over to our social media platforms where we're asking you today, how often do you test your health indicators like your blood pressure? And please be as honest as you can with us. You can tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, or you can comment on our Facebook page.
And plus, we turn our attention to animal behavior. We've got expert Karen Haynes here, and she's answering your questions about your animals and some of the habits they've gotten up to and that you don't understand. And if your little puppy or kitten is giving you any problems or you have any questions on your mind, then do call us on 021 430 9881. So Glad proves that there's another reason to believe in magic with this incredible plastic wrap. Glad Press and Seal sealing powers will definitely blow you away. It's a food storage wrap that combines the benefits of wraps, foils, and food storage bags or containers. It seals so many different surfaces, including plastic, paper, wood, metal, and glass. It's microwave friendly too. Simply tear, press, and seal. So as you can see, it's now sealed for a leak-proof airtight seal. So when you're preparing snacks, it's got you covered. The seal will stay strong even when life goes a little sideways. It's perfect for in the kitchen and around the house for storage and sealing. This wrap is an absolute essential.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, before the break, we discussed the risks and complications of high blood pressure. And now it's time to have Danilo's tested. We're back with hypertension and nephrology specialist, Dr. Erika Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I should have done push-ups before I got into the segment.
You
I feel
should have.
To flex
You should
every
have.
muscle in my body. I swear don't have hypertension. I'm going to give myself hypertension.
You just love a bit of drama.
Yeah.
Love a bit of drama. Okay, so can you take us through what you're about to do now?
Right, so we want our patients sitting in a chair, their back supported, and they need to be relaxed for 5 minutes before we take the blood pressure.
Stop stressing me out,
he's
Bonnie.
been sitting nicely for 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes, hey?
And we tend to use the non-dominant arm, so the left arm in right-handed patients. And the arm needs to be nicely at the level of your heart and the back supported.
Okay.
So I'm going to put on the cuff, and essentially this is an automated cuff. We set it up. This is basically a standard blood pressure machine. And we press a button. And what it's going to do is it's going to squeeze his arm, and it's going to then release. And as it releases, it detects 2 different blood pressure readings. And those we call systolic and diastolic. And those are how we diagnose hypertension.
What is a healthy sort of blood pressure?
A healthy blood pressure is less than 140 over 90. The lower the better tends to be. We do like our patients not to be talking when they have their blood pressure checked.
Yeah, yeah. I told you this would be hard for you, mainly because you can't talk. And then what's the first thing you did? So what's it looking like now?
Well, we're still measuring it.
Oh, we're still measuring
takes
it. Okay.
about 20
I
to
mean,
30
I'm
seconds.
confident. I think Danilo's quite healthy.
I nailed it!
Yeah.
He's nailed
There we
it.
go.
Absolutely
There we go.
perfect blood pressure.
So it's lower than 140 over 80, you said?
90.
90, which is a lot better. So mine's
Yeah.
132 over 72. Really simple, felt nothing.
You're feeling quite chuffed with yourself.
And allows me not to talk for like 3 minutes. It's fantastic.
And that's all there is to it.
Thank you
It's very
so much.
easy. It can be done at any time. The one thing is we like it to be done about 3 times and take the average.
Amazing. So lovely. Thank you so much, Doctor, for having for coming to share this with us. It's really simple. Go get your blood pressure tested. And although I couldn't sit still in a chair, perhaps your puppy is also not behaving. Behavior specialist is up next.
Absolutely.
Whiskers, feed their curiosity.
Since welcoming Donut and Baxter into our family, we're constantly learning more about them and their behavior as they grow. With help from our friends at Whiskers and Pedigree, we gathered some questions about animal behavior that you wanted answered. Karen Haynes, dog trainer, groomer, and student of animal behavior, is in the studio to help us answer your questions about your furry friends' behavior. Welcome, Karen. Lovely to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So our first question, before we get into the questions, I just want to ask, when it comes to dogs and cats, are behavior traits consistent with breeds?
Very much so. For centuries, various breeds have been trained or bred to have specific characteristics. Especially when you look at dogs, they have had various purposes throughout our history, and those genetics will always shine through.
They'll always shine through, no
Yes.
matter how whatever evolution happens in
No
the
matter
breeding
what, there will always be
process.
the exception, but genetics will always shine through, yes.
Wow, okay. So Johan van Veek from Rustenburg has asked, Tony Pom, he's got Tony Poms who are always eating and licking their feet. Toy Poms, sorry. And they're always eating and licking their feet. He's tried everything to stop this, but they still do it?
All right, well, first up, vet check. Get everything checked at the vet. Otherwise, it could be a matter of boredom, licking and chewing on the paws. It's self-soothing. It releases serotonin. Obviously, it's a behavior we don't want to have continue for too long. So it would definitely be best to get a behaviorist in there and develop a training program.
And is that quite rare for toy poms?
Not really. They can be pretty anxious. So they try to find ways to just calm themselves and chill out.
Okay, that's good, I suppose. Yeah. Johan Kotzer posted a question asking why his cat suckles his neck.
This is also a self-soothing mechanism. So it happens mostly with kittens that have been weaned off their mom too early. And that action of suckling on their mom, it keeps them calm, it makes them feel safe. So as they grow up, they will revert back to those behaviors just to make themselves feel nice and warm and fuzzy.
Aww. Another question came in about dogs asking, why is it that dogs seem to have more personality than cats?
Well, I think they both have personality, but they show it in different ways. Dogs will bark and wag their tail and go a little crazy, whereas cats are a little more subdued in their affections and showing how they feel.
Yeah. So Bonganim Tombeni from Pretoria also wants to know why his new cat always runs away from him when he sees him.
Oh,
Aww.
Well, it's a new cat. He's in a new environment. He may be a little shy of people, so I guess just a little bit of patience and treat the cat whenever you're around.
Yes,
Get him to associate you with good food.
Good food. Now, we also asked you to let us know your questions for Karen. And on the line, we have Sarah from Parkhurst. What is your question for Karen, Sarah?
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Oh, good to hear. I got this dog that it just digs my garden, my flowers, everything. And I'm just like, I take my baby for a walk all the time. It's got toys, it's got everything. I just can't stop it from digging my garden.
Okay, thank you. She sounds quite exasperated there, but her dog can't stop digging.
So digging is a natural behavior for dogs. Some dogs were bred to dig, to actually find vermin in the ground. So it's something that they enjoy. If this is wrecking the garden, either you can have a certain spot, a certain corner where you bury some stuff that the dog then focuses on just that corner, or cordon off the garden. Give him something else to do, something nice to chew. Like she said, she does take the dogs for walks, but perhaps a bit of training here and there, just to keep his mind busy and tire him out before he gets the chance to dig up the garden and destroy everything.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Karen. And I hope this has helped answer some of your questions about your furry friends.
It's now time to take another aspect, look into another aspect of our lives when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. It's all about healthy eating. Do you know specifically what blood type you are? Are you A, B, AB or O, positive or negative? What many of us don't even know, but health researcher particularly who's in a lot with us today, Visser, reckons that we should not only know our blood type, but also adapt our diets accordingly. And she has a book called Healthy, Happy Eating for All Blood Types. And today we'll be showing us a recipe to make that kind of satisfies all of those blood groups. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you very much.
I'm excited to be cooking alongside you because I've heard so much about blood type diets and I just don't know too much about it. So tell me more about why we should be eating for our blood type.
Well, it's not a blood type diet that you specifically eat this. We basically steer people in the direction of lectin problems. Now, lectin is like a little tag on food that interacts with your immune system or your blood or your cells. And it can cause problems. It can make your blood agglutinate, or it can interfere with your blood sugar metabolism or your immune system. You can't say to everybody, a tomato is going to do this to you.
Yeah.
You see, so
it's dependent on the particular individual and the way that their body incorporates these.
And the big problem with most diets is a person of a particular blood group creates the diet and says, now everybody must eat like me because just look at me.
It can be quite a complicated thing, I'd imagine, trying to know exactly what I am and shouldn't be eating that's better or worse for my kind of diet. But I understand that there are certain ingredients that you can use that are broad spectrum for all blood groups.
That's what we call the beginners. And you can adapt this diet if you want to go on a ketogenic diet or you want to do an all grain or a fruit diet. You're welcome to do it. But don't eat the fruits that cause a problem in your system. It's about as simple as that, you know. Find the troublemaker and kick it out.
So it's called an elimination diet, I'd imagine. So let's begin with the stuff we've got in front of us here and talk me through some of these ingredients, because I just kind of want to start to pack, because I don't particularly know about my individual blood group, but I know the things you bought for us today are quite generally acceptable.
I call it the grey area, and in my book I describe it on the grey panel. So when someone wants to eat according to their blood type, it's not, oh my God, I must go and buy new food, I must kick everything out of my kitchen, I must panic.
You've got much of this with you. So what have you got here today?
So today we're going to eat rice, and we're going to eat quinoa.
Delicious, high in protein, high in fiber.
And now if people want a vegetarian diet, they can have this as a substitute for meat, and it suits all the different blood types. There's no conflict here.
I see.
But not all the beans and pulses agree with you and agree with me and agree with another person.
I get
and
you.
The detailed information, you can slip through all the charts and the pages to find out how it works. The better you adapt and you kick the lectins out of your diet, miraculously for nothing, you feel better.
I hear you. So what about things like tomatoes and onions? Tell me about some of the ingredients you've brought here.
Well, onions are general, they suit everybody, and there's a lot of
what nutritional value do they bring?
They're heart healthy, and anything of the garlic and onion family in that helps to lower blood pressure.
Nice.
And, I know a sultan who's had 20 children and he eats a kilo of onions a day. There must be something good.
Right there. Okay, cool. So if you do suffer from high blood pressure, this is a good something to include in your diet more
mainly
often.
the greens. The things that are rich in magnesium help to lower blood pressure. It's basically a magnesium deficiency at the root cause of it all.
Okay, and mushrooms?
And mushrooms, there ain't much room for them in the diet, but you can nibble at the sides. There are different types of mushrooms that contain lectins that do cause problems. But within the parameters, if you really like mushrooms and they don't agree with you, you can have yourself tested. You can have your blood tested or your saliva. And don't listen to your body.
Don't always listen to your body. What I do want to say to you is obviously we wanted to try and make a dish that is very simple to make and very easy to prepare that any one of the blood groups can be able to consume to get that kind of nutrients into their system. So this is what we've made. You've got here, you said you cooked some rice and some quinoa. You've mixed in some vegetables.
Yes.
What else have you got going on the plate?
And eggs suit all blood types and they do not raise cholesterol.
I see.
This whole thing about high blood pressure is always linked to the cholesterol problem, and eggs actually contain a lot of lecithin.
I see, which isn't actually
a
blood thickener.
It emulsifies the fat.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And there's also some spinach in there to get your greens actually mentioned, and try and incorporate different ways to make the flavors. And if you guys want obviously any more information about how to obviously eat and look after your blood diet, you can go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. All of Sue's details are available there. Go and check it out. And perhaps you want to go and even give the book a good read, because there you'll find all the information. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
It's been really cool and really insightful for me, to be honest. We'll continue the health conversation later on in the show, so head over to our social media platforms. We're asking you today, how often do you test your health indicators, particularly things like blood pressure? Be as honest as you can. I'm being interested to see those answers. You can tweet them through to @AfternoonChat. Use the hashtag AfternoonExpress, or you can go and comment on our Facebook page. We're Afternoon Express. Now, after the break, we head to the kitchen for a nutritious chocolate oats recipe, the perfect breakfast for people on the go. Plus, Rachel from Sidewalk Specials is back with 2 of the fluffiest things you'll ever see in your life. You'll want to adopt one. Stay tuned.
nutrients, protein and calcium, Smart Drink is made with love by Clover.
Clover Future Life Smart Drink is a great on-the-go smart snack for when you need an energy boost. Containing 50 nutrients, it's a convenient post-workout drink and replenishes to keep you going. Today, we're using it to make a delicious chocolate oats that is packed with nutrition. To get this recipe sent to your device, SMS Clover to 33650. So, Clem, it sounds deliciously decadent but healthy as well, right?
It is. And I say pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout.
Post-workout,
everything.
Yeah.
This drink's got it all.
Yeah. And anyone who works out a lot, who does any kind of physical activity, knows that drop after exercise is the worst feeling. And if you don't handle it immediately, you kind of stay in that funk for quite a while.
So true. So this is a great way to combat that. So I've got some of the Smart Drink in here. I'm using the chocolate flavor, and I'm actually going to double up on the nutrition. I'm actually going to add Smart Oats to it as well, also by Future Life. I'm using chocolate flavor, so it's chocolate on chocolate. I mean, that just sounds good. And you can add that in there. This is great because you can make it, like we said now, as a warm post-workout treat as well.
Yes, you can. You can actually make it before you go and work out and then look forward to it after exercising.
And I make this the night before and use it for breakfast on the go.
Nice.
Talk about on the go. The bottle's a perfect size as well.
It is.
So it's like easy for you to just grab it, put it in your bag, go. So what you want to do is you actually don't want to add too much oats to this because oats, we know, swells up. So keep it like at a nice thin consistency. Let's pour it into the glass. And let that set up in the fridge, and you'll see the oats are going to swell up. You know, you get that overnight oats texture?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're looking for. So I like doing it in layers, put some in. Then I've got some of the crunch cereal as well, also by Future Life. That goes in. Texture on texture. And because we're talking about maximum flavor, just like in some almonds in there with some extra nuts in there. Almonds and cherries, amazing flavor combination.
I love cherries.
So just pop that in your glass.
I'm going to steal a cherry for
myself. Go for it. And that's what I made for you earlier, because I know you're always on the go. That's you sorted.
I'm always on the go.
How easy was that?
You know me so well, Clem. So this is so simple and easy to make. You have to try this at home and do that. So SMS to 33650 to get the recipe. Here's a recap in case you missed any of the steps.
Made with love by Clover.
Super simple and easy to make. We now turn our attention to these fluffy little friends we have with us in the loft today. And companionship has an absolute inherent benefit to people's overall health. So it's not surprising that dog owners display a low risk of getting chronic illness. A sure way to ease daily stress is being able to come home to a companion who loves you unconditionally, no matter what. Bean and Podge with us in the loft today are exactly what you need to make your days a little more cheerful. And Rachel from Sidewalk Specials is here to tell us a little bit about this brother and sister and how they can be the perfect companions that you could be looking for. Yes. Welcome to the loft.
Welcome. I've got my hands full today.
Bubbly little things.
They really are. They are. And they have smelt chicken, and now there's no going back.
No going back.
Possibly the first chicken of their life, I would almost guess.
Good luck to having those two calm down tonight for a good rest.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about where you found these two.
Well, again, we were in Durban doing outreach, and we were talking to a family. They were asking us to sterilise their pets. And then we just heard, turn around, there's 6 little fur balls playing with a cat.
Oh, wow.
And it was the pets of these family. They really like the chicken.
They are in it for the chicken,
You've got a puppy behind you. And yeah, so we said, do you want the puppies? They were like, well, no, we can't look after them. We don't want any more dogs. So they came back with us, and we've got 6 of them.
Sure. And what condition were they in when you found them?
A lot of worms, a lot of fleas, very hungry, super hyper. So it's kind of like they're in fosters now, they're being loved, learning how to play. They're all great with cats, obviously. They're great with kids.
So if you've got a family that perhaps has a cat at home, these might be the perfect adoption pets.
Exactly, because so many people say to us, we want a dog that's good with cats. We want a dog that's good with our cats. And in this case, we can actually guarantee they will be very good with your cats.
So they're feisty. Do you know what kind of breed they are?
Mummy was Afrikaans. We don't know who Daddy was.
Okay, yeah. So they're kind of one of those animals you're going to have to wait to see see how they grow up. But do you know what
It's
size they're most
lucky
likely to grow into?
surprise. Size-wise, just under the knee.
Just under the knee. So
Just
they're a nice
under the knee.
animal that's going to start pretty cute and fluffy and then grow to
Exactly.
become one of those companions that'll last a
Exactly. They can
lifetime.
go for a hike with you. They can go for a run with you.
Should we let him go for a run? Let him go for a run.
Go.
There we go. And he hops as well. They're honestly the cutest little things you'll ever see. They are both up for adoption, correct?
They are, and they have 4 siblings as well that also need homes.
Okay, so there are 6 of them that are up
6
for
of them.
adoption. And so I'm hoping to find 6 families on Afternoon Express today. You can obviously go and visit Sidewalk Specials or go and visit afternoonexpress.co.za to go and find all the details on sort of exactly how to do these. But before we get into adopting these cute little fluff balls, let's quickly understand, how it is that animals contribute towards a healthy life.
Well, for me, I think it's kind of like everybody wants love. And everybody wants unconditional love, and that for me is a dog. It's like, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what day you've had, it doesn't matter how much you own, and this is something we always explain to people, like in the townships, people are like, they don't love their dogs. It's like they do, because dogs don't see life like we see life.
Yeah.
They don't see you like you see you, you know?
Exactly.
It's like, you can come home, they are delighted to see you, whether you've been gone 2 hours or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think it just adds something that's completely missing, really, in modern day life.
Yeah, I've become so broody for these little animals on the show today, so perhaps you better get to those phone calls and those emails before I do, because there might not be 6 of them remaining, there might be only 5 at the end of the show because of me. I might be adopting one myself. Thank you so much for always coming to join us and sharing all of these stories with us. You're doing amazing work.
Pleasure.
Really, really
Thank you
are.
for having us.
Sure. And if you guys obviously decide to adopt Bean or Podge, this is the correct name, our friends from Pedigree will also provide you with one of their puppy kits to get you started as well. So it's really cool. Not only do you get a fluffy friend to come home to, but you also get a starter kit as well. It's awesome.
They're cute, they're cuddly, and they're TV stars. Baxter and Donut, the adorably fluffy 4-legged members of the Afternoon Express family, are sharing their daily adventures on social media. To see what Baxter and Donut get up to behind the scenes, follow the adventures of Baxter and the adventures of Donut on Instagram.
Now head over to our social media platforms where we're asking you, how often do you test your health indicators like blood pressure? So tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page, please. Now on today's show, we've discussed the risks and prevention of high blood pressure, and exercise is definitely one of the best ways to reduce your chance of developing the condition. But after the break, it's time for some yoga with 2 Durban sisters who've opened their own studio called the Toolbox. Don't go away.
It's the food lover's dream escape to Rome returned from just 6,700 Rand with Travel Start's gourmet Italian getaway. Summon the Eternal City as your chance to dine out on the town, from breakfast espresso to linguine, fettuccine or pesche al forno, and if there's room, maybe a torta de cioccolato. Go all out Italian with the Rome return flights from just 6,700 Rand for travel during September and October 2018. Just another amazing way to enjoy hassle-free, budget-friendly getaways with travelstar.co.za. Subject to availability, T's and C's apply.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Anyone who knows me knows that I love a good yoga session, and more people are searching for alternative ways to ease the stress of their daily lives. As we know, stress has become a major contributor towards people developing health conditions like high blood pressure. Two sisters, Zamo and Sizwe, who both led stressful lives, turned to yoga as a means of coping, and they've never looked back. They went on to open the Toolbox studio, which is the first Black-owned yoga studio in Durban, and each day they help people in their community live holistically. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you.
I'm such a fan. I stalk you on Instagram and check out what you guys are up to.
Yeah. All the bit of support that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So you guys have very stressful lives. I mean, what were those stressful lives before you found yoga?
I was an advocate. So yeah, studied law, so I had my practice at the Johannesburg bar, and yeah, as you can imagine, lots of cases, people wanting you to fix their lives, and yeah.
You're like, I need to fix mine now.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I started off in tourism, did a bit of fashion, but yeah, just kind of that general corporate life of just demanding and the hustle and the bustle.
More, bigger, better,
and you had an
great.
accident that changed your life, right?
Yes.
That changed the course.
Yeah, well,
that you were on.
it basically brought yoga into my life. I was in a near-fatal accident in 2006, major head injuries, 8 reconstructive surgeries. I came out of there physically, like, pretty banged up, but more, I think emotionally, I'd say. Also, I just was like, lost a lot of confidence because everything was in my face and just weakened in the body. And my sister, who had been using yoga to help her with her stress and her practice, was like, I think you should try this. And yeah,
and
like
you were hooked
said,
immediately.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Tell us about the Toolbox.
The Toolbox, this is will be our second year in September.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've made it. Well, we're making it every day. I think we just wanted to create a space of connection, a place where people can come and breathe and just decompress and find tools really to support them in their journey for well-being and for balance.
So yoga is a very trendy thing, but I've always noticed yoga being positioned perhaps by people who don't necessarily know much about it as a sort of elitist thing to do. You guys are trying to bring it back to the everyday person who just needs to learn to calm down, chillax a little.
And that's like one of our biggest things is yoga is for everybody. I think Zamo is some place for people to come, but more importantly to come as they are. And I think the yoga sorts everything else out. You know, we sometimes think like, I know myself, I was like, I got to lose some weight before I can start yoga, or I've got to get flexible, or I've got to, and it's just like, nope, you're great just the way you are, and the practice will sort it all out.
And the outreach work you guys do?
I was about to ask that.
So yoga is a tool that you can begin at any age and which you can do forever. You know, I met a 108-year-old yogi when we were in India. So it can support your entire life. But the earlier you start, like any good habit, the better.
The better.
So we always wanted to teach children because we think it's such a supportive tool that you can use throughout your life. So we launched an after-school program in Claremont. We grew up in Claremont, so it was just great to be able to reconnect with the community in that way. So we teach grade 6s and grade 7s. And yeah, I mean, as much as they love the physical, the exercises, they also really connect with the meditation. And it's just a reminder that kids are stressed too. So
yes, they are.
Even more so now.
Even now, more than ever. I think before you'd get home and you could kind of leave school behind, but with social media, it's like, you know, if you didn't get invited to that party, you know where everybody's going, you know if you can't afford to maybe go to that movie. It's just a completely different ball game, I think, now. And so it's just like, we all need these tools, and
kids need to detox from screens now.
I tell you.
And sugar.
Okay, cool. So you're going to take us through some postures that are good for stress release after a hard day's work.
And it's a good beginner's exercise because the ladies are obviously dressed up in what you would imagine is just sort of work gear.
Yeah.
I kind of got overdressed. I'm kind of overdressed.
I love your outfit. I love your outfit. He did it especially for you guys.
Bonnie's going to step out. Why, Bonnie? Tapping out of this one?
No, because I had actually quite a restorative yoga session this morning, and I've had a pinched nerve in my back, so I'm taking care of
Lies. She wanted to watch me. She's like, I just want to watch and laugh off camera.
That is the honest truth.
She's got an Insta story behind the scenes. Watch. I know, Bonnie. Let's get going, guys. I'll stand. Where do you guys want me to stand? In the center?
Yeah, why don't you be in the center?
I'm going to be over here. So what kind of moves are we going to do?
So it's just like, I think for us it's about, as you were mentioning, that people have this idea around yoga, and so for us it's about how do we make it more accessible, so we're not going to do anything too crazy, just some simple moves that when you're getting home that you can kind of do on your own. So the first thing we'd say, as you are great, shoes off. You want to ground. You want to feel the
Come on,
earth beneath
shoes
you.
off, you guys. Get going. We want to see those
You want
toes.
to-
Secret socks and all. It's proved.
So you want to get your shoes off. You want to feel yourself completely grounded onto your mat. Spread your toes like nice and wide, and just taking a second, I think, just to tune in. Notice. Notice. Like, close your eyes. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if you're feeling stressed. Just taking a check mentally, physically, emotionally. Where are you today? And then after just a couple of moments in silence, we come down onto our knees. So coming onto your mat, you want to bring your big toes to touch behind you. Bring your knees as wide as possible. If you've got a mat, take them as wide as a mat, or sometimes just listening to where your body is. You then want to slowly start to walk your hands out in front of you. Bring the center of your forehead towards the mat. And then just allow yourself to stay here and breathe. So this is a very restorative practice. As you notice, you've got the stretching through your back, so it helps you with your lower back. And if you want to take a little deeper, like activate it, you can start to reach your fingertips a little bit more forward as you keep sitting your hips back. So you're finding that nice deep stretch. And what you also find is with the head down, it's really restorative and relaxing. So you can continue to check in here, like, how am I feeling? How was today? Just kind of, taking deep, steady breaths.
It's also good to just keep drawing your shoulders away from your ears. So you want to feel as if your shoulder blades are connecting down your back. Wonderful, yeah. I think there's a lot of stress in the shoulders, so in yoga we're constantly emphasizing releasing and softening the shoulders away from the ears.
I see. And then you'll start to realize the shape of your body, which parts are stiff, which parts aren't. You realize how uneven you are. Wow.
Fantastic. And then taking it from there, you can bring your knees to touch. If you find that your knees are tight or this hurts or the glutes, feel free to bring yourself into a cross-legged position. But this is also, if your hips allow, if you've got a book or some blocks, it can also help just to lift up the tailbone and allow the knees to open. So again, you want to sit as tall as possible. I like to bring my fingertips to my side. This just always helps you find really your tallest spine. And then again, hands can rest facing up on your knees, facing down. And just taking a couple of moments and then bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to breathe our fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, you're going to find a twist. Bring your right hand towards your left knee and bring your left hand behind your body. Look behind your left shoulder. So here is what we call a deep spinal twist. We're again working with the back. I want you to notice where your twist is coming from. Keep drawing your hips forward so that you get that detox of your internal organs as well.
I can feel that as well.
Yep. Come back to center, draw your palms up, and then take it to the other side. So just finding that twist and looking behind that right shoulder.
Wow.
And that back hand is quite close to your spine, just a reminder to extend
Pull
upwards.
itself up.
Yes.
Are you trying this at home with us, South Africa? I'd be dying to know. If you've got this experience happening at home and perhaps this is something you're trying for the first time, please do get in touch with us at Afternoon Chat. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express. Bonnie always stresses me out, so I'm going to ensure that I continue to do my poses today with these spinal twists. And then, obviously, while I gather myself, head over to our social media platforms and join the conversation. How often do you test your health indicators like your blood pressure? Tweet them through to us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you.
For the freshest peri-peri prawns and espetadas, dine out tonight in Mozambique. With Travel Start's return flights to Maputo from under 3,300 Rand. East African spice meets the Indian Ocean's bounty over an open fire. It's a food lover's getaway to glorious Mozambique for under 3,300 Rand. Another amazing way to enjoy hassle-free, budget-friendly getaways with travelstart.co.za. Subject to availability. T's and C's apply.
How are you feeling, Dan?
I'm feeling so good. It's good to be back on air. I finally got back into my work clothes, adding more stress to myself. I'm so ready to just like take it all off again and carry on with my yoga moves. It was really, really cool to see what you guys are doing. I mean, it's such a good, warm persona. It makes me feel like it's very easy to get into starting up, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So thanks for all that you guys are doing. Bring yoga to Durbs.
What have been some of the rewards, your own personal rewards with your journey in yoga?
Knowing myself, I think it's just the biggest reward is just, knowing yourself. And then I think from that place of knowing yourself, you're able to push yourself and push the limits and try and stuff. But it's from this place of a deep sense of, I'm close with myself. I'm so much closer than I've ever been.
And it's a yes or no answer, but are you happy you left the corporate world?
Yes.
Good. I love it. I'm so excited to see. These are the stories we need to tell more of. People are so afraid to leave their jobs. They're so afraid to leave high-paying positions because they're scared of their futures. And you guys are showing and paving that way. So we really, really are proud of you.
Yeah, when I'm in Durban, I'm definitely coming to your classes. And guys, if you're in Durban, find the Toolbox. They are on Twitter. You're on Instagram. All the details are on our website. So please be sure to do so.
Indeed, they're stretching boundaries and stretching bodies at the same time. Coming up tomorrow, we're hanging out with TV personality Katleho. It's going to be absolutely awesome to have him in the loft with us today. Sini Vasan. It's plus we're looking at some vintage fashion design by Coco and Miles as well. So it's going to be a fashion-filled, TV-filled, action-packed show tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned to Afternoon Express. We'd love to see you then.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you're super relaxed from our short yoga session. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good evening, and God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.